You guys remember Dreamzzz, that Lego show that came out a couple years ago? Yeah, well, it got a new season last month. I don't know how many people knew about that, since not a single source acknowledged the season's existence. I know the show has its fans, but oh wow, there are very few of them. I might very well be the first person to talk about these new episodes on this website, and they came out a month ago. But anyways, about the season itself, I like it. I think it's a really solid set of episodes. It has quite a few issues, like any installment of the show, but it's possibly the best season yet. I don't know, I haven't watched season 2 since I made my review. So let's just get started, because I have a feeling it's going to be a longer video. One of the best improvements made to the season is the animation. Season 1 was entirely animated by Pure Imagination Studios, which, I'm sorry, just did not look good. Everything was so stiff, especially the fight scenes. For Season 2, while most of it was still animated by Pure Imagination, a handful of episodes were animated by WildBrain, the same studio that animates Ninjago and the newest season of Monkey Kid. And the quality is night and day. WildBrain had pretty much perfected Lego 3D animation, and it looks so much better. And now for Season 3, WildBrain has completely taken over, and I'd say that's for the best. The show actually looks pretty decent now and has enjoyable action scenes, which is important for a show like this. Getting into the actual season, episode 1 is pretty messy. It begins at the end of summer vacation. Everyone but Mateo and Izzy are on vacation, leaving Mateo bored and cocky after defeating both the Nightmare King and the Never Witch. During these first couple episodes, Mateo seems to have some kind of hero complex, with him always being corrected by Z-Blob, that defeating these villains was a group effort and not just him.
Okay. We saved the dream world.
In fact, this is a trait Mateo has throughout pretty much the entire show, always feeling the need to be the one to do things alone, which is extremely annoying, especially in Season 1. I forget if Season 2 has this, since it's been so long since I've seen it. Luckily, it's not that bad in Season 3, since it's just a few lines and absolutely nothing is done with it. Izzy has become a big fan of a new hero called Dream Smasher, and he's the villain, isn't he? Yep, he's 100% the villain.
And by the way, you can totally trust me! Totally.
Mateo doesn't like Dream Smasher because he feels he's replacing him along with the rest of the Dream Chasers, so that causes some beef between the two of them. Izzy is a fan of him though, because if he's doing all the hero work, then that gives them time to just be somewhat normal dreamers again. I want to take a second to talk about Izzy here. Throughout the show, there are times where Izzy talks about missing the days of being a normal dreamer and not having to worry about all the nightmares and other responsibilities that come with being a dream chaser. This is a very interesting idea, and Izzy is the best character to explore this idea with because she is the youngest on the team. But they never do anything with it. There are multiple scenes where Izzy wishes she could go back to being an unaware dreamer. They have an amazing concept right there in front of them, but never do anything with it. Back to the episode, once everyone returns, we learn of this new tech company called Happy Tech, who is buying up a bunch of property around the city, including the observatory, because the Night Bureau sees no need for any more because of Dream Smasher. This is where we also catch up with everyone else. Zoe's been hanging with her dad, Coop has become a hoarder, and Logan was ghosted by... which the show tries its absolute best to make you not forget about.
I don't know if anyone's noticed, but, I've been a little down lately.
No.
Not you.
I will admit there are a couple pretty entertaining lines, but then again there's a scene where Logan has a whole musical number about Astrid that ends with him breaking down. This is also the excuse the show uses to completely forget about Astrid because she is nowhere to be seen during these episodes. Though based on the set, she will be in part 2. After that, Sneak asks Coop and Mateo for help, and for some reason, Mateo is very reluctant to agree for some reason. Like, the entire episode, he's been complaining about how bored he's been, and has been itching for something to do, and then when he's asked for help with something, he doesn't want the help. And then when they get there and find a giant talking birthday cake, okay, whatever. He doesn't want to fight it, even though just earlier that episode he was happy when a town was being attacked because that gave him something to do. Like, well, make up your mind. Are you bored or not? Do you want to beat the crap out of people or not? Pick one. Episode 1 isn't the greatest. It feels kind of all over the place, tied together with some not-so-great writing.
Ever since I saved the Dream World, I've been feeling a little uninspired.
What's with him?
Evidently, Logan shared his feelings with Astrid on text, but she never responded.
My dad wants to go to the arcade first thing when it opens. Wants to win me a stuffed bear, which I don't want, but he's trying to make up for lost time.
But it's only uphill from here. Episodes 2 and 3 are pretty forgettable. I just watched them yesterday and I'm now already struggling to remember what happened. Episode 2, Z-Block becomes annoyed with Mateo about how demanding he's being, which causes them to have a falling out. The resolution to this is that during the first day of school, while everyone is choosing what clubs they want to be in, Mr. Oz, hold on. By the way, Mr. Oz is actually one of my new favorite characters because of this scene.
Mr. Oz, I'm here for the kids who love science and sports but not one or the other club?
Oh, that. I just made up a club name that sounded awful so kids would leave me alone and let me get some shut-eye.
Also, everyone was struggling to find a club, so why didn't they all just sign up for the kids who love science and sports but not one or the other club? And then they could have just hung out with Mr. Oz and not do anything. Anyways, Mr. Oz tells Mateo that he just needs to talk to Z and that they can work things out peacefully. Except, what? Just last episode, the first thing Teo does when encountering the cake is to try and talk to it and come to a peaceful solution. This is not a lesson he needs to learn. You literally just showed me that he already knows how to do this 10 minutes ago. Also during the scene...
Well, what do you want, Oz? I already told you, I don't want to hear excuses for what you did.
What? You can communicate with people in the dream realm from the waking world? How does that work? And then, once everything is settled between the two, Teo allows Z to stay in the dream realm anytime he likes, which feels incredibly out of character. For the past 2 seasons, Mateo has been absolutely obsessed over this blob of snot, would not let him out of his sight, and couldn't even control his dream crafting while he was gone because he couldn't stop thinking about him. So him being perfectly fine with letting him be on his own for extended periods of time just feels wrong. This whole subplot feels out of place this season. A big part of Season 2 is how obsessive Teo was over Z, so I think this plot would have felt a lot better in the second part of Season 2. It just feels rushed and kind of forced in here. Anyways, while that is happening, Izzy starts up a pyramid scheme.
I'm tapping into the subconscious of our peers who see Dream Smasher in the dream world.
Is that even ethical?
Wait, how'd you make that? You're 12. That plot ends with the police. Izzy now has a criminal record.
Who knew?
Episode 3 is just a race. Mateo catches Dream Smasher doing bad guy stuff and then he yells at them because races are illegal. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Dream Smasher in these first few episodes before the big reveal. I like him. I really like him. He's a lot of fun. You can see why so many people fall in love with him, but you can also see why he's so off-putting to Mateo. It's obvious he's hiding something, but he's just so energetic and entertaining that it's easy not to question things and take what he says at face value. Especially in this episode, he's actually pretty funny.
These meanie screenies don't seem to be chasing you now. Ooh, maybe they're behind me. No? Everyone, check your pockets. The only winner here is the person who didn't race.
Okay, no, I don't really like this Izzy scene, because what Dream Smasher said was a genuinely good line. But then, when Izzy starts going hysterical, it's treated like what he said was stupid and incredibly unfunny. It downplays the joke, and in a show where good jokes aren't the most common, I don't really think they should be doing that. Luckily, the Cooper bit is still pure gold. This episode is the debut of Izzy's Season 3 design, and I love it. It's her best design yet. She drops the orange and replaces it with coral, which still looks good. But then I love the reuse of the Ninjago Master of the Mountain armor piece. I might actually have to buy the Bonchero set just to get this figure. Dream Smasher's design is also really good, though what bugs me is that his legs are really nicely detailed, but then while the front of his torso looks good, there's nothing on the sides and back. His minifigure has back torso print, so The only reason I can think of as to why his show model doesn't is because he has a cape. But here's the thing, that doesn't work. For someone like Mateo, you could get away with not designing the back because their cape would cover it up. But for Dream Smasher, because he's almost always either flying or hovering, and because his cape is so short, it doesn't do a very good job at covering his back, making the lack of detail very obvious. Not a big thing, doesn't ruin his design, just something I wanted to point out. One last thing about this episode, Pirate Jaden is surprisingly not annoying, and I really like this visual gag. In my first impressions review of the season, I said the episodes 4 and 5 were just as mediocre as 1 through 3, and while I still don't think they're anything amazing, this is when the season starts to lock in and becomes pretty decent. Izzy suggests to Dream Smasher that he becomes Dream President, and thankfully he realizes how dumb that sounds and instead decides to become Dream Keeper, the role that Lunia had before she disappeared. This episode is the debut of Mateo's Season 3 design, and I really like it. His and Izzy's dad gets a new job as a custodian at the new tech place Happy Tech, which has considerably grown in size since the last time we saw it. I'm sure it's nothing. Dream Smasher makes the mistake of saying that anyone is free to run against him for becoming Dream Keeper, and Mateo, along with a bunch of other random people, join the campaign, leading to a bunch of random, dumb challenges. Before either Mateo or Vincent Tong can beam in the vote... Wait, Vincent Tong?
I may be a pickle, but I'm cool as a cucumber!
Also, what is this voting system? The person whose basket's the heaviest wins, but everyone puts in completely random items. Some people place in bananas, while Oz puts in a frying pan. What's stopping someone from crafting an anvil and placing that in? Someone could have 30 votes, but still be beaten out by someone who has 10, because they had heavier items in their basket. Anyways, Dream Smasher creates holograms of the Nightmare King, and he and the Dream Chasers go to stop him. Dream Smasher pretends to defeat the Nightmare King, and this is where he's outed as the villain to our main characters, including Izzy. Along with this, his identity is revealed, and he's that one random guy from the end of Season 2. Actually, his name is Claudius, and this is an aspect of the show I really like. Both Dream Smasher and the Never Witch were introduced this season prior to them becoming the main villains. This makes them feel more integrated into the story, and not come out of nowhere at the start of each new season. I will say that it was done a lot better with the Never Witch in Season 1, because there she was just a one-off villain for a single episode and didn't really get a conclusion, and there was still a ton of mystery surrounding her. But with Claudius, he was in a few Season 2 episodes, and wasn't that deep of a character, and got a conclusion in that season. So it genuinely surprised me to see him back here. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, it's not. Because he's an already established character, he already has a grudge against the Dream Chasers. And because he wasn't a very deep character in Season 2, that allows them to do whatever they want with him in Season 3. And his motivations were already explained. He just wants to be powerful, which isn't interesting at all, but he's carried by his personality and surprising amount of power in the waking world. Now that they know who Dream Smasher is, they go to confront Claudius in the waking world, since a couple episodes ago they accidentally discovered that he works at Happy Tech. They find out though that he has moved all the way up to being the manager, and now Mateo's dad has taken his place as front desk guy. Mateo and Zoe are randomly given a tour by these two scientists, and before I go any further, let's go all the way back to episode 1. These two scientists are the creators of Happy Tech, and use Claudius as a test subject for the new VR thingy. It went wrong and zapped them so hard it turned them into aware dreamers. We don't know what exactly happened yet, but Claudius became Dream Smasher and the two scientists became 0 and 1. And if you're someone like me, you didn't realize that until they straight up told you in like episode 9. Looking back, it's pretty obvious. Nira has a red shirt with a black and white tie, and Dawn wears a coral shirt and has a giant ponytail. And they both work for Claudius just like in the Dream Realm. Quickly talking about 0 and 1, and while we're on the subject, they don't get much actual character, but they have some of my favorite designs in the whole show. Back to the episode, Dawn and Yu are taking Mateo and Zoe to see Claudius, who mocks them and basically tells them that if they try to stop them, there will be consequences. Your basic villain speech. Now I want to talk about probably my favorite aspect of this episode, and that's Izzy. One of my biggest complaints with the show is that not a lot of the characters have much of any development. Izzy in particular got absolutely nothing for the first 2 seasons. So I'm happy to say that they finally do something with her here. After finding out who Dreamzzz is, she is absolutely crushed. A big part due to the fact that Claudia spends like a whole 30 seconds mocking her for how badly she screwed up.
Oh, I Claudius'd you so good!
I love this guy. Anyway, she hates herself the entire episode for making Claudius Dreamkeeper, and she's especially upset that she pretty much betrayed Mateo. Now, this arc isn't perfect, it only lasts this 1 episode. By the end, she learns that she shouldn't be so hard on herself. So I do wish that it would have bled over into episode 6 as well, just so it would feel a bit more realistic, and it would have saved us from whatever this is.
Or is it meh?
But I'm just glad that they did something with her, and what we did get is pretty solid. When I first watched the season and saw that Dreamzzz was revealed to be the villain in episode 4, I thought that was a bit too soon for that reveal and should have been pushed back a bit. But once I saw the direction the back half of the season took, it made complete sense. In episode 5, we learned that the dream realm exists on 2 frequencies, and that aware dreamers exist on one, while normal unaware dreamers exist on the other. They figure that Claudius somehow zapped himself into being an aware dreamer, possibly by being in possession of the Crown of Control last season. So their plan is to zap him back into being an unaware dreamer, which is something they know how to do. I mean, I guess it hasn't been relevant until now, but still, Oz just knows how to do this. Either way, it doesn't work because Claudius is able to escape in time, causing everyone else to be zapped into some kind of limbo space between the frequencies. I think I might have gone a bit overboard with the script. I did not plan to go into as much detail as I did. So what I think I'm going to do is to split this review into 2 parts. I don't know exactly how long this part is, but doing a quick comparison, my 20-minute Kai analysis video from last month has roughly 3,500 words, while this video has roughly 3,000 words. That's not a huge difference. So yeah, this was not planned at all. I'm not sure if part 2 of this review will be my next video. It probably will be. But so yeah, my overall thoughts on the first half of the first part of the 3rd season of Lego Dreamzzz. It's fine. It's not terrible, but it's pretty much exactly what I expected going into the season. Like I talked about in my first impressions video, the back half of the season is when it gets good. Definitely my favorite part of these episodes is Dreamzzz. He's just so much fun, and I'll have to rewatch season 2, but he might be my favorite villain. What do you guys think of these episodes? And with that, if you enjoyed, I'd really appreciate it if you took 2 seconds to like and subscribe. Bye!